Please adhere to YouTube selected guidelines before viewing the content of this video. I do not encourage or condone any products, actions, or behaviors shown in this video. All videos are produced in a safe, professional, and controlled environment. Please do not attempt to replicate any actions performed during the video. All actions are performed by professionals.
Alright, so today I'm going to be drinking a rum and coke at 5 p.m. on a rainy day, which as a whole I am looking forward to doing much more so than not. But why? Why do I want to have this experience today? Why do I want to drink outside on a rainy day at 5 p.m. in the afternoon today? Well, the reasons are quite simple. Reason number one is because I'm wanting some alcohol. I haven't had a drink yet today, and I definitely could go for one, that is for sure. Reason number two why I want to have this experience today is simply because it's actually quite nice out here right now. It feels really nice out here. We've got a little bit of a gap in the rain, but if it does start raining again, like it says it's going to, then I have my umbrella right over there and I can enjoy this weather while not getting wet, but while still appreciating the pitter-patter of the rain on the ground. And reason number three why I want to make this video today is simply because I want to find out just how good or just how bad a rum and coke made with caffeine-free Coca-Cola actually is. I have actually never had caffeine-free Coca-Cola before. I didn't realize it existed until very recently when I got to thinking that maybe I shouldn't have caffeine at 12 o'clock at night when I want a rum and coke, because then I have trouble going to sleep because there's caffeine in Coca-Cola. And so I set out searching for caffeine-free Coca-Cola. Couldn't find any for a while because apparently it's not a very common thing for stores to sell, but I was able to find some, and so as such I am very curious to find out today just how caffeine-free Coca-Cola is for the first time and find out whether it is just as good as a normal rum and coke as well, or whether it is as good as a normal rum and coke, whether it makes a rum and coke that is as good as a rum and coke made with normal Coca-Cola, I think is the right way of putting it. Might be getting my words all jumbled up. Y'all know what I mean, though. Y'all know what I mean. But I do suppose, without further ado, I should probably go ahead and actually, well, crack open my caffeine-free Coca-Cola. Maybe just take a little bit of a sip of it, see if it's any different than normal Coca-Cola. And then after that, I think I should probably go ahead and mix my drink all up and, well, actually get to, well, day drinking a rum and coke, or just drinking a rum and coke at 5 p.m. on a rainy day. Although it's not really raining right now. It was raining a couple minutes ago, though. As I said, we've got a little bit of a gap in the rain, but it is supposed to start raining again. We'll find out whether that happens or not, though. But let's go ahead and crack open my first ever caffeine-free Coca-Cola, and let's take a sip and let's find out how it is. Yes, sir. Very satisfying crack open, if I do say so myself. Let's take a sip. I'd say maybe it tastes a little bit different. Maybe a little bit less intensely. Oh, I'd have to say maybe a little bit less intensely something. I'm not exactly sure what the less intense flavor is, but it's something. And it's just a little bit different than normal Coca-Cola, I can say without a doubt. Like, the caffeine-free Coca-Cola definitely tastes a little bit different. Definitely not as different as something like, let's say, Diet Coke or Coke Zero. I'm not really a big fan of either of those just because they just don't taste very good in my personal opinion. I know some people like them. They're just not to my personal preference. I'm not dissing on them by any means. But I just don't really like them because they just don't taste to my personal preference. They don't really taste like normal Coca-Cola to me. This, on the other hand, while it does taste a little bit different, it's not that different. And honestly, this stuff's still not bad at all if I do say so myself. Yeah, no, it tastes just fine. But does it make a good rum and coke? Well, let's go ahead and grab my Mount Gay Eclipse rum from Barbados. And let's go and get it opened up and pour some in my Crown Royale glass I've got right here. And let's make my first rum and coke of the video. I think I should be able to get 2 out of this can more than likely. We'll find out whether that happens or not. Not sure if that's gonna happen, but maybe, just maybe. Oh man, I just realized I completely forgot to bring a stirrer out here. How could I forget to do that? I completely forgot. I'm gonna go grab one real quick. I'll be right back. I now have my stirrer, which is a very nice fork, as we can tell. Let's go and sit back down, mix up my drink, just as I am now doing. And now that I have done that, let's go and take a sip of my first ever rum and coke made with caffeine-free rum. Yes, sir, you know what I'm saying? Wait, made with caffeine-free rum? Made with caffeine-free Coca-Cola. Get my words just a little bit jumbled up, but we ball, you know what I'm saying? We ball. So far, so good. Flavor-wise, the rum and coke itself is quite similar to, well, the taste of a normal rum and coke. I think really the right way of describing the flavor of caffeine-free Coca-Cola is that, to me, it comes across like something is missing. It really, just flavor-wise, I don't know what it is, because does caffeine really have a flavor? I don't know. But flavor-wise, it just seems like something is missing. Now, it very well could just be me imagining it, in all honesty, because I know that this Coca-Cola is caffeine-free. But I think really the best way of describing the difference between normal Coca-Cola and caffeine-free Coca-Cola is simply the fact that in caffeine-free Coca-Cola, it kind of just tastes and feels like something is missing. Not in like a bad way, just in a different way, but nonetheless, it seems like something is missing. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Either way, though, pretty solid drink. I'm not complaining by any means. I'm enjoying it, I will readily acknowledge. Certainly, no complaints on my behalf. It is quite nice out here, if I do say so myself. It was thundering and raining a little bit heavier than not, although not like the most heavy by any means. I'd have to say probably about 15 minutes ago now. And it's not really, well, raining at all anymore. I'm still getting some drizzle from the trees. Says it is gonna start raining again though, in like the next 15 minutes or so. Probably in the next, actually 10 minutes or so now. But we'll find out if that happens or not. Sometimes I look at the weather app and stuff like that, and it's like, oh yeah, it's gonna start raining in like the next 5 minutes. And then 5 minutes passes, 20 minutes pass, 30 minutes pass, and then it starts raining. It's like, okay, next 5 minutes, my butt. The weatherman always be lying, that's what I'm saying. But no, it's quite nice out here. It was raining, and the rain definitely kind of cooled off the weather in my local area. It was probably, I'd have to say, around like 73 degrees in my local area before it started raining. Now it's probably like mid-60s. It's probably around about like 65 degrees or something like that. So now it's just like solid pants and hoodie weather. But it's a little bit gray. Not getting super dark. The sun's going to be going down in a little bit, though, I will acknowledge. But yeah, that's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. I can't complain. Just seeing the clouds. They're moving just a little bit. Not hearing no thunder. Just hearing the road noise. It's nice. Very relaxing. Very chill. Just vibing. Just vibing, in all honesty. Overall, though, I gotta admit, my first ever rum and coke made with caffeine-free Coca-Cola, not too bad. I don't mind it. I definitely think, I'd have to say, flavor-wise, overall, I do still think I prefer rum and cokes made with just normal Coca-Cola. So, like, if I'm gonna be drinking them at, like, let's say, 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I don't mind having caffeine at that time, and since I don't mind having caffeine at that time personally, then I think that I'm gonna be sticking with like normal Coca-Cola for like that time. But if I'm like eating dinner at like 8 o'clock at night and I want a drink to go along with my dinner and I want some rum and coke or something like that kind of thing, then I'm definitely thinking I'm not gonna be going for normal Coca-Cola. I'm gonna be going for the caffeine-free stuff instead. if I'm wanting a rum and coke, just later on in the day when I might not want to have some caffeine. Yeah, I do think it's a good option. I do think it is. It's still got sugar, and it's still got, oh man, probably, it is safe. It's still got 39 grams of sugar. That is a crazy amount of sugar. Still got lots of sugar in it, of course. But I'm not worried about the sugar. It's mainly the caffeine that is really causing an issue for me, I'll acknowledge. But, yeah, no, overall, first ever caffeine-free rum and coke. Can't complain. Cannot complain. Not too bad if I do say so myself. No complaints on my behalf, that is for sure. Just tastes a little bit different. It just tastes a little bit different than a normal rum and coke. It just kind of tastes like there is some very minor thing missing. But it's really not that big of a deal, and it's still a great drink in my personal opinion. But it definitely is not identical. I can definitely confirm caffeine-free Coca-Cola is not identical to normal Coca-Cola. There is a difference. It's a very minor difference. It just kind of feels like there's something missing in caffeine-free Coca-Cola, but there is a difference nonetheless. Very minor, but there is a difference. But still, caffeine-free Coca-Cola, I can confirm, makes a good rum and coke. No complaints on my behalf. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, pretty solid if you ask me. Let's make another. Gotta be doing it, you know what I'm saying? I'm wanting a buzz. I got a little bit of a buzz going from that first one, but I could go for another one, I ain't gonna lie. I think I poured myself a bit too much rum for this one though, but that is what it is. Guess better too much than too little, right? That's not always the case. Trust me, that is not always the case. I have had a rum and coke made with far too much rum. It was not good. I might low-key, because I didn't fill up my entire cup. I might low-key go get another caffeine-free Coca-Cola in all honesty, because I'm kind of wanting to chill out here for a little bit. This might not even be my last one. I'm kind of wanting another one.
I'll be back.
And since I'm using caffeine-free Coca-Cola, I now have an excuse to say that what I'm drinking right now is healthier than normal. Because it doesn't contain any caffeine, so I now have an excuse, and I'm like, ooh, I can now say that what I'm drinking today is healthier than what I normally drink. So now I have an excuse to drink more, because it doesn't contain any caffeine. You know, big baller moves, that's what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Should have brought out some lime juice. I'm not adding any lime juice to this today. I forgot lime juice as well, but I'm not stressing about it. This is pretty solid without lime juice, I ain't gonna lie. Yes, sir. No complaints on my behalf. None at all. A little bit of rum hit. I'm glad I decided to grab my my other caffeine-free Coca-Cola, because dang, that would have been way too much rum if I hadn't put a little bit more Coca-Cola in. I know some people do like 50-50 rum to Coke ratio. I can't do that. It's too much. I don't mind sipping some rum straight. That's still too much of a rate. Like if I'm making a rum and Coke, it's 1 to 3 or 1 to 2 or like 1 to 2.5 kind of thing. 1 part rum, 2.5 to 3 parts Coke. Yeah. Kind of low-key smells it's like it's gonna rain. Like sometimes I can kind of smell rain, and sometimes I like can't notice it at all. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just noticing some new smell and I'm just thinking it's the smell of rain. But I don't know, I kind of feel like it smells like it's gonna rain. Which I wouldn't be surprised by, because it is starting to get a bit darker. And I think that's half due to the sun starting to go down just a little bit, because it is currently 6:03. Sun's been going down around like 6:10 these days, I want to say. But I think it's also due to the fact that the clouds have definitely gotten a little bit darker as well. Just smells wet out here, and smells wetter than it did previously. I wonder. Will it actually start raining, or will I have to change the title of this video to drinking a rum and coke, excuse me, on a wet day rather than rainy day? Because, well, it's not actually raining right now. Like, it is a rainy day, Like, that fact is true. It is a rainy day. But it's not actually raining out here right now. See, I'd totally put rainy day in the title, but like if I say rainy day, I want it to actually be raining in the video. Like, y'all know it rained because it's all wet out here. But, I don't like doing no clickbait. I don't want to put rainy day in the title and people think they're gonna be watching me drink in the rain when it's not actually raining. Yeah, there's water dripping down from the trees, but it's not actually raining. It's a rainy day, but it's not raining during the video. It's just a wet day during the video, I guess. I don't know. If it starts raining, even for 5 minutes before the end of this video, I'm gonna count it as rainy day. If not, I'm gonna have to change the title of this video to wet day at the end of the title, that is. Not the entire title, just wet day. Although that'd be pretty funny. I actually, I think it'd be hilarious to do like some video with like a really long title or something like that, where it's like drinking a rum and coke with Pepsi and root beer at the Altria manufacturing plant in Richmond, Virginia at 2 p.m. in the afternoon in March of 2025 in the century of 2000. Like, that's over 100 characters. That's too much. But then I just retitle that entire video to just be like, wet day. Or drink. Or it's just like a one-word, really small title, but the actual video title is like super long. Actually, that'd be kind of funny, I ain't gonna lie. That would be pretty good. I would not mind doing that by any means. That would be pretty funny. I think really the right way of describing the caffeine-free Coca-Cola, though, is that it feels like there's something missing when compared to the original one, compared to the OG, and it's just a little bit more mild as well. It's definitely a little bit more mild than OG Coca-Cola as well. Although maybe that's just my personal take. Not in a bad way, not mild in a bad way, just different, just different. Solid drink, solid weather. I can't complain. I can't complain. I'm trying to think of a topic. I've covered how the caffeine-free Coca-Cola is, and that was a very good topic. I really enjoyed talking about that. There's definitely some minor differences between caffeine-free Coca-Cola and normal Coca-Cola, after all. So it's good to talk about. Good to talk about the weather, but I'm trying to think of some other topic. How about we cover, Saddam Hussein. How about we talk about Saddam Hussein? Let's talk Saddam Hussein conspiracy theories. No, I'm just joking. I actually don't know any. I don't really know a lot about Saddam Hussein. I know the name. I know he was a pretty messed up individual. Other than that, I really don't know much. I know the meme where he's like, oh, Saddam Hussein hiding spot, which is a funny meme. Let's see, so it's just that. That's, boom. Boom. I've done the Saddam Hussein hiding spot with my hand. That was horrible. Yeah, I really don't know much about Saddam Hussein. I was just trying to think of a topic, and I was like, oh, Saddam Hussein would be funny to say. So I did say Saddam Hussein. The YouTube algorithm is going to be desperately trying to figure out where this video lies in the YouTube algorithm now. Because the YouTube algorithm is based not only on title, not only on description, but also on what is actually said during the video. Unless nothing is said during the video, of course. But now that I've said Saddam Hussein a variety of different times during this video, is it going to put this video in people's drinking in history recommendations? Or is it still going to be just alcohol recommendations and stuff? Or is it going to be like some other completely different genre I've never heard of before? I wonder. I wonder what the recommended videos next to this video are. Is the next recommended video a Saddam Hussein hiding spot meme? That'd be pretty funny. If it is, post a screenshot. I want to see that. I want to see that. Turn the subtitles on, post a screenshot. That's what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Now, trying to think of a topic, though. Topic. I've got a buzz going right now. And honestly, it's like one of those buzzes where it's like... I think it's raining out here again. I can't say anything for sure, but I think it is. Oh yeah, no it is. It's starting to rain out here. Yeah, I prepared. I got an umbrella. I prepared. I am prepared for this scenario. I've got a big umbrella with me today. Let's go, y'all. I am prepared. I'm just gonna move everything that I might need closer to me so it doesn't get all wet and whatnot. There we go, perfect. Perfect. We are set, y'all. We are set. No complaints on my behalf. None at all. Yeah, it is actually starting to rain again. There we go. I could actually title this video, Drinking a Rum and Coke at 5 p.m. on a rainy day, although it is not 5 p.m. anymore. It is now 6 o'clock. I started this video closer to 6 o'clock than I realized, I will acknowledge. But we ball nonetheless. Boom. I was about to say I had it standing up on its own. Not quite. There we go. Oh, never mind. I'm just gonna hold it. We ballin', you know what I'm saying? We ballin'. Could talk about cars. Oh, I can always talk about cars. Cars are great. I like talking about cars. I really like Mercedes-Benz W123 300D turbo diesel sedans and just the W123 generation of Mercedes in general. Those are just very cool cars, in my personal opinion. I love, like, German cars and just cars in general that kind of, like, they're made, like, the W123 is an executive car in the United States, or at least that's how it was marketed when it was new. It was like the up-and-coming executive. That's what they drove, kind of thing. That's how it was marketed in the United States when it was new. But in Europe, it's not only that, but also just like, I feel like with the 240D, the four-cylinder, the sort of the more base model version, that was marketed as being like a family car for like upper middle class families, I feel like. And then like also the W123 is marketed as being a taxi. And then when the taxis were done being used in Europe, they then got a second life in Africa. And I love cars that like have second lives. Like W123s, like they didn't just get a second life in Africa, of course, as well. I mean, like we're looking at like the Middle East, Africa. We're looking at a lot of Eastern European countries and stuff like that kind of thing as well. Once the W123s were done being taxis or were sold in Europe after the original owner sold them, they were then put into service as taxis in other countries around the world, which I think is like super cool. And that's like without even mentioning that W123s were actually produced in China. by a company under license from Mercedes, which is like super cool as well. But like cars which like originally have like one life, but then like gain a second life because they're just so good, are really, really, really cool to me. I think that's really cool. And like the W123 is like a perfect example of that. Another really good example, and this car doesn't actually exist in the United States, but it's a car that I'm sure some of y'all are gonna know if y'all are from Europe, but I think that's the Peugeot 505 from like the 1970s, I wanna say. That car, I wanna say it's Peugeot 505. I might be wrong, but that car was of course made in France for years. It's a Peugeot, and they also started producing it in some countries in Africa as well. I think it was Kenya, I want to say they produced the Peugeot 505 in. And in Europe, they made a sedan and station wagon version. But then in Kenya, they made a pickup truck version and like a taxi version and like all these different versions. And there's still some of like the most visible old cars on the road in Africa. And they're just like known to be like insanely reliable, really good cars. I love cars that like get second lives like after they're made, and I think that's just like so cool. I'm trying to think of like other cars where it's like they kind of have been either like around for so long where they've just kind of gotten a second life, or where like they just got a second life because they were just so good. And I think another really good example is well, like the Fiat 124, for example. If I remember the Fiat 124, that's also known as the Lada Riva when it was made well, in Russia. And then also produced in Egypt after the production ended in Russia as well, which I think is super cool. So that car not only got one life after its original life, but two, because it was made in Italy, then in the Soviet Union / after that Russia, and then in Egypt as well. And predominantly in Egypt, they were being used as taxi cabs. Maybe I just like taxis, because I do like checker cabs as well. I do kind of want a checker. Oh man, checkers are really cool. I actually kind of want a checker. For context, Checker was a taxi cab production company from the 1950s to mid 1980s. Or no, actually not from the mid 1950s to the mid 1980s. They actually exist from the 1920s to the 1980s. However, the car that they're mainly known for was produced from like the mid 1950s, I want to say, or like late 1950s to mid 1980s. So like a 30-year production span minimum, which is crazy for an American car. Like I'm trying to think like, oh, and I love cars with like really long production spans as well. Like those are so cool. Like I'm trying to think like what's the car in the world with the longest production span? And I already know off the top of my head. It's a VW Beetle. VW Beetle without a doubt. I mean, like originally prototypes for the VW Beetle were created in the 1930s, if I'm remembering correctly, actually put into production in what, the late 1940s, really grew in popularity in the 50s and 60s. Super Beetle came about in the 1970s, but then the VW Beetle continued to be produced in other countries like Brazil and Mexico for a very long time. Same with the VW Bus as well, produced for a very long time in other countries. And I wanna say the VW Beetle is the longest running single production vehicle of all time, which I think is really cool. Like there are nameplates that have been running for longer. Like let's say the Chevy Suburban, I think is the longest running nameplate ever. Because those were produced prior to World War II, I wanna say, and then they're still produced today. But single generation, oh man, it's so cool. And like really niche single market cars that like are super uncommon anywhere else are like really cool to me as well. Like there's so many cool like single market cars in South America, specifically Brazil and Argentina, which I think are awesome. There's like a couple like Fords in Brazil that it's like there's one like Ford like F-250 Super Duty that's like a sedan. So there's no pickup bed. It's a sedan, and it's not called an F-250. It's like really odd looking, and it's really interesting, and it's really cool. And then Ford also, like throughout the 1960s up until I think the modern era, they at some points made like varieties of pickup trucks unique to like the Brazilian market, which I think is really, really, really cool. And then in Argentina's case, they had some really, really, really hard to work around import laws. So it's really hard to import like new cars into Argentina for a while, from what I heard. And this was done as a way to try to prop up their automotive industry. From what I've heard, I'm not from Argentina. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Take what I say with a grain of salt. If you guys are from Argentina, you guys know much more than what I am saying, I'm sure. But either way, in the, I want to say 1960s, 1970s, there were imports of Mercedes, I think it's W114 or W115s, into Argentina, but they weren't sold as normal W114, W115s. They were modified by an Argentinian coach maker as a workaround of the import laws to make them into pickup trucks, which I think is like super cool. They didn't sell a lot of them from what I heard, so they're pretty rare. You can find photos of them online. They're super cool. I want one. Really bad. I really want one. I really want a coach-built W123, or not W123. I really want a coach-built W114, 115 pickup truck. And they even made dual cab pickup trucks too, out of the same, like, it was only basically like literally all they did was take the trunk lid off and be like, yeah, it's a pickup truck now. With the dual cab. With the single cab though, they actually chopped the back doors off and whatnot, kind of thing. And oh man, it looks so cool. It looks so nice. I want one. I looked up an image of one once, and I was just like, whoa, this is really nice. And that's how I found out about it. But I was just like, I've been enamored ever since I saw the photo for the first time. But I also looked up to just see for information whether somebody had ever imported one anywhere else outside of Argentina. And this thread I read was quite old. I think it was from like 2008. So I don't know if the import-export laws in Argentina are the same today. But I do know that at that time, the import-export laws in Argentina were a bit funky from what I heard. And so it's kind of hard to export the car. But he imported it to Germany, and then the thread ended up going silent. I don't know whatever happened to the car. But there is an Argentinian W114, 115 in Germany, apparently. I don't know if it still exists, but there was one there at that point, at some point. At one point, at some point, which I think is super cool. But they're apparently very hard to find, not super easy to export, and finding one in good condition is even harder. I want wind's kind of picking up just a little bit. I want an Argentinian Mercedes pickup truck, though. I ain't gonna lie. That would be so cool. Yo, I'd love one. Genuinely. Genuinely. It would be so cool to own one. If y'all live in Argentina, if y'all have any family members that own a W114, W115 pickup truck, genuinely, hit me up. Genuinely. Hit me up. Hold on to it. If I get the chance to go to Argentina, I will actually go take a look, and I will actually consider purchasing it if I have the money. But if any of y'all from Argentina, I want a W114, W115 pickup truck. If y'all have one in a shed, let me know, you know what I'm saying? Let me know, because I want one. I love like super niche cars though. And then there's also like a Brazilian, I think it was either a Ford or a Chevy like sports car that was never sold anywhere else. And it looks really interesting. I can't remember the name of it though, but it's very cool stuff. Excuse me. Oh man, that went down the wrong way. We ballin'. Yeah, I like cars. I like niche cars. I like cars that have kind of gotten second lives. I like cars with long production spans. VW Beetles are pretty cool. I wouldn't mind having one of those. I wouldn't want to try to use it as daily driver, though. VW Beetles, the engine has to be rebuilt like every 60,000 miles. I've ridden in a VW Beetle before, though, and that thing is like a go-kart. VW Beetles are crazy. I rode around in a 69 VW Beetle once. One of my friends used to have one. Super cool car. Super cool car. It's literally just a go-kart. It really is, like, riding around in it, like, it was just crazy. It was just like, whoa, what the hell kind of thing. Like, it was just, like, leaning in the corners. Like, we had, like, 5 people in it. Which is, like, way over payload capacity for a VW Beetle and all honesty. But, like, that's how they were designed kind of thing. It had a little bit of a souped-up engine, so it wasn't as slow as it certainly could have been. But, like, the suspension was not optimized for 5 people in the car at all, so it was lean and heavy. It is literally just a go-kart, though. Literally just a go-kart. Super cool car. I honestly, while I wouldn't ever want to daily drive a VW Beetle, I wouldn't mind owning one and having one to tinker with and just drive around every once in a while. I wouldn't want to, like, try to drive it all the time, though, I'll acknowledge. But super, super, super cool cars nonetheless. I like cars. I like trains. I like planes. I like automobiles. They're all very cool if I do say so myself. No complaints on my behalf. None at all. None at all if I do say so myself, you know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I need to mix myself another drink, though. It is still raining. But it's kind of only sprinkling. It's not raining super heavy right now, so I'm going to put the umbrella down just for a moment, and I'm going to mix myself another drink real quick. And I also just remembered, I need to grab a screenshot for the thumbnail of this video. How do I want to do that? I need to grab a screenshot for the thumbnail of this video, so I'm going to do that after I mix up this drink and take a sip. Trying to think like other really cool cars that I really like, though. That I think are like, oh, like UAZs, like the UAZ bread box. Oh, so cool. Scion XB, based. But, oh man, excuse me. I love Scion XBs / Toyota BBs. But what I like JDM cars. I think they're really cool. I do like my JDM cars. Importing a JDM car seems like something that would be like really cool to do, and I wouldn't mind doing that by any means. I'm just gonna try to fix my umbrella real quick. It's a little bit bent. I just bent it the wrong way. No, I bent it even worse than it was previously. It's okay. Does it still go down? Go down? This umbrella is crazy durable. I'm like, it broke, but I like just literally bent it back and it still works just fine. All right, we're all good. But, what was I about to say? I can't remember. Oh yeah, but, UAZ bread boxes are really cool. I think those are really cool. UAZ, like, Jeeps are really cool. Willys Jeeps are really cool. I wouldn't mind getting me a Willys Jeep. Oh man, don't get me started on, like, Postal Jeeps. Yo, Postal Jeeps are so badass. 2-wheel drive. They flip super easy. They're right-hand drive. Oh man, they're so cool. I want a Postal Jeep. I'll acknowledge. I do want one. Quite bad. I want a Postal Jeep. The sliding doors. The reliability of an AMC 4-cylinder. No parts availability. Oh man, it's all so attractive. I want a Postal. There's a lot of cars I want. But I was talking about JDM cars, wasn't I? I think JDM cars are really cool. I do like JDM cars. I think Skylines are cool. I think Supras are cool. I think there's a lot of very cool, like, JDM cars and stuff like that kind of thing, I'll acknowledge. But a lot of them, and especially K-Trucks, I love K-Trucks. Excuse me. But a lot of them, I am personally not willing to own and drive. Just due to parts availability. Because a lot of times with JDM cars, the engine that's offered in the vehicle is not offered, or was not offered in the United States as well. Especially that's the case with K cars, which makes parts availability a little bit difficult. You can't just go to AutoZone or O'Reilly's and get parts kind of thing, and that's not great. It means you have to specialty order everything. So if it happens that the part you buy doesn't actually fix the issue you have, then you have to wait another little while. And you have to pay shipping and all that stuff. But there's one car where that's not an issue, and it's a car that I really like. I'm sure there's more than one car where this is not an issue, of course. They sold Toyota Corollas and stuff in Japan, of course. But the one car that I am personally really interested in that doesn't have that issue, where the engine was sold in the United States, was available here, and so as such, besides like panels, I can actually get everything I need for the car in the United States when it comes to mechanics. The car I'm referring to is the Toyota BB Open Deck, a pickup truck version of the Scion XB / Toyota BB. I want one. It's got suicide doors, which is super cool. I want one. Now, they're not quite at their import limit yet. We're gonna be hitting that in like 2 years though. But once we hit it, I kinda want one. I ain't gonna lie, I do kinda want a Scion XB or a Toyota BB Open Deck. Yeah, I want one. I do want one. Oh man, those cars are so cool. Scion XBs are so based. And I was watching like one car channel from Africa. I'm not exactly sure where the car channel is from, but it's somewhere around the Congo. Let me just put it that way. And he does car videos, like driving around and stuff like that. Channel name is Passy, P-A-S-S-Y. Check him out if you're interested in watching videos on like African car culture and stuff like that kind of thing. It's very cool videos. Although African car culture in that one country, of course, Africa is an entire continent. The car culture is not the same everywhere. But his videos are very cool. I highly recommend the channel. But he's done some like POV driving videos, and I'm looking at the cars passing by, and a lot of them are obviously like USA imports, like Toyota Siennas. That's a North American only car, so it had to come from North America. But then I'm also seeing like a good amount of like the Japanese, like Scion XA and like XDs and stuff like that as well, being used as taxis. And there's like Toyota Hiaces, Nissan Caravans, and stuff like that as well. All super cool stuff. And I'm just realizing I have been talking about cars for like the last 20 minutes now. Hey, we ball. But yeah, I want a Scion BB Open Deck, or a Toyota BB Open Deck to say it correctly. I want one of those. I'd honestly be pretty happy with just a Toyota BB in general, though, I'll acknowledge as well. I think they're just really cool cars. I'd be pretty happy with a Scion XB / Toyota BB, but an Open Deck would just be icing on the cake, I ain't gonna lie. I gotta grab myself a little bit of a screenshot real quick. I keep forgetting to do this. I think I'm gonna put down the umbrella just over my stuff real quick, and I think I'm just gonna stand up just for a moment to try to grab myself a little bit of a screenshot, if I can. Oh, let's grab my tripod. Oh, let's grab my alcohol. Oh, let's see if I can do it. I'm gonna try to fix my hair real quick. My hair, I feel like, is all kind of messed up, I ain't gonna lie. We be balling, you know what I'm saying? I might be slightly buzzed. Just slightly. Gotta do it to him, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put this down right there just real quick. Oh man. And I'm just gonna grab myself all right. Hopefully one of those will do as well. We'll find out which ones I want to use for this video, but it is Actually starting to rain a little bit right now. Well, I'm glad I can actually title this video, Drinking a Rum and Coke on a Rainy Day. Although, it's more than one rum and coke. Drinking rum and cokes on a rainy day would be a more accurate title. Because this is like, what, my third one? I think. I'm not sure. I'm buzzed. The first one did like nothing to me and made me just want another. And then I had another and I was like, I can go for another, and now I'm having another. It is actually raining though. Can't complain, can't complain. I have really been enjoying myself though. This has been great. I've just been talking about cars, drinking rum and cokes, which like rum and coke is like my favorite mixed drink. Talking about cars, which is one of my absolute top things to talk about, I'll acknowledge. There are other items I really enjoy talking about as well, but cars are really cool. This has been a great time. I'm having an amazing one. And I still have like half of this too. We ballin', you know what I'm saying? We big ballin' out here today. We big ballin'. Ain't no rain gonna stop me from getting an alcohol buzz. That's for damn sure. I could just go inside and drink, but like, I don't want to. I'd much rather drink outside. Because big baller moves, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? Big baller moves. I was like, let me put my head on the... I was like, let me put my head on the metal and see how it feels. And it feels nice. The metal feels pretty nice. I ain't gonna lie. It's cold. Feels good. Excuse me. I'm feeling good right now. I really am feeling good right now, I ain't gonna lie. And I'm gonna mix myself up another one. I'm gonna put the this down like this, and I'm just gonna have that on my knee, and I'm gonna mix myself up another drink because I've still got like just about half this can left. I'm not gonna put a lot of rum in there because I don't think I have a lot of Coke left. Coca-Cola, that is. But that should be good. That's like probably a 1-to-2 ratio. We ball, you know what I'm saying? We ball. Go on, mix her up just a little bit. A bit rummy, but that's a-okay. That is a-okay if I do say so myself. Make sure I used up all the Coca-Cola in my can. Cans plural because I used 2 cans today. It's getting breezy though. Trying to think of one or two other cars I want to mention before the end of this video today. Try to think of one or two other cars I want to mention. Ooh, that's difficult. That's difficult. Oh, Lexus LFA. Yeah. I want one. They cost too much damn money. I cannot afford one. I am not sure if I will ever be willing to spend the money on one, even if I have the money. But I want one nonetheless. Yes, I do want a Lexus LFA. Oh my god, they sound so good. Genuinely one of the best sounding cars of all time. I love how Lexus LFA sound. Man, that V10 is so crazy. It's wild. Ford GTs from the mid-2000s with that V8. Whoo! Don't get me started. Those are nice too. Not as good as the LFA though. Based. I want an LFA. Or at least I want to drive one. I'd love to drive an LFA. Other cars. Lotus Evora. Four-door, not four-door. Four-seat. Toyota powertrain. Lotus. Like, Lotus Elise is very cool. But I'm like 6'1", so I don't know if I'd fit very well in it. But the Lotus Evora, I know I'd fit in. Like, I know the back seats are unusable. They're just there for fucking insurance purposes. I gotta censor that F word. I try not to cuss during my videos, but I'm buzzed, and it just slipped out. My my internal censorship is slipping out right now. But a Lotus Evora, those are really cool. I think Lotus Elises are really cool. I think Lotus Evoras are really cool as well. Oh, they're so cool. Toyota powertrain, supercharged, but built by a British racing legend. Oh man. Can't get much better than that. Like, British cars, at least in the United States, they ain't regarded as reliable. Triumphs, they ain't reliable. They ain't regarded as such, at least. But, like, you got a Lotus. It's got a Toyota powertrain. It's reliable. It's a reliable car. Like, I honestly, like, I don't know. Like, if I had the money and I wanted, like, a daily sports car, I would totally buy a Lotus Evora. And just daily the hell out of it. Put like 200,000 miles on a Lotus Evora. Like, yo, that would be so, like 200,000 miles. Like, try to put like 300,000 miles on a Lotus Evora. Yo, that would be, that is insanely based. I should look up what the highest mileage Lotus Evora, Lotus Elise is. Because both those are Toyota powertrains. And we can attribute the Lotus Elise to being what, to like, we can literally directly attribute the Lotus Elise to making Tesla popular, to making Tesla possible today as well. Because the original Tesla, the Tesla Roadster, was a Lotus Elise bodied car. So we can literally attribute the Lotus Elise and Lotus Evora to Tesla's success today. I'm not really much of a Tesla person, I'll acknowledge. I have no really beef with them. I think they're okay cars. The quality is not there for the price, in my opinion. But I think they're okay. When it comes to electric cars, I like Lucid, I like Rivian, I like BYD. I think BYD electric cars are really cool. I think they're more of a realistic approach to, I think like Rivian and like Lucid, I think they're like high-end, like expensive electric cars that like are just for people that have the money kind of thing. Like, they have the money to spend on a nice electric car, and that's why they buy a Rivian or a Lucid or something like that. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's just the fact of the matter. That's just how they are kind of thing. But like BYD, they're making like $16,000 electric cars. Granted, subsidized by the Chinese government, so they're really cheaper than they should be. But still, if you want an electric car and you want to spend under 20 grand, I mean, granted, they're not under 20 grand in the United States. They don't even sell them in the United States as they're recording this video. But you can't go wrong with a BYD kind of thing. I think they're super cool. I thought Karma had a really cool concept. Like, when it comes to in my personal opinion, like electric cars, we're trying to shoo them in like too fast. Like, I don't really get personally, like, I think electric cars are cool. I don't have any beef with electric cars. I know there's a lot of automotive enthusiasts, especially when it comes to older cars, that are not really a big fan of electric cars. And if that's your opinion, if you don't like electric cars, hey, we all have our own opinions kind of thing. I ain't got no beef with that. But for me, I don't mind electric cars personally. The car I actually learned how to drive on was a Nissan Leaf. So I don't mind electric cars, I'll acknowledge. There's a used Nissan Leaf that was bought for like under 10 grand. Banger deal if I do say so myself. I ain't got no beef with electric cars, but like, I think we're trying to like usher in electric cars like too fast. Like, there's not enough, like, if everybody in the United States had an electric car and they were trying to charge it overnight, it would overload the grid and nobody would get their car charged kind of thing. We don't have the power supply for electric cars right now. We certainly don't have the power supply for electric semi-trucks. And we certainly don't have the infrastructure for electric cars either. And that's really my biggest issue with them. And so I think plug-in hybrids are really the way to go. Like, why are we pushing for electric cars so much when, if we're looking at it from a realistic standpoint, plug-in hybrids are the best of both worlds? We get the range of gas cars, we get the convenience of gas cars with the convenience and power and torque of electric cars as well, because there's so many plug-in hybrid cars that use electric motors with basically just a gas or diesel generator kind of thing. I mean, like, it's what freight trains have been doing for years. I mean, like Edison, look at Edison trucks. They're super cool. It's literally a freight train on wheels. When it comes to the engineering, at least. And like the Chevy Volt. Say what you will about Chevy. I own a Chevy. I own a Chevy Suburban. The engine went kaput. It's got head gasket issues. I don't have much faith in the reliability of American engineering. I like American cars. I like American V8s. I love my V8s. I had a Crown Vic. Rest in peace. That got totaled a month after I had it. Uber drivers be like, oh, let me just weave in front of this dude and hit him. But that's a side topic. That's a story for another day. I think like the Chevy Volt is like a really cool concept, and it completely failed both in America and in Europe. It completely failed sales-wise, complete sales failure. But it's like what we should be ushering in rather than like pure electric cars. Like, I think pure electric cars are cool, but we just don't have the infrastructure for it right now, and we won't for the next, in my opinion, 20 years. It's just not something that's going to work out for this time being. Plug-in hybrids are a great stopgap, and I think that's what we need to be pushing for right now. Although, maybe that's just me. I'm not sure. But there are some really nice plug-in hybrids out there. Like a Chevy Volt, I think it's a really cool concept. And it's like genuinely a vehicle that, like, as said, I don't really have much faith in the reliability of American cars. I don't. Frankly put. My want for reliability is the reliability of a W123, and no car can match that besides like a couple like handfuls of cars. Maybe the Volvo 240 with the 4-cylinder, not the 4-cylinder, not the diesel, the 4-cylinder gas. Maybe that can match the reliability of a W123. Yeah, it's still debatable though. I own a W123. I love my Mercedes. Dream car for me. But like, and I love my Suburban as well, but I've owned so far like 3 American cars. I owned first a Crown Victoria. It was a 2008 Crown Vic P71. Sadly, that got totaled. That wasn't a reliability thing. But then I owned a Ford Aerostar, 1996 Ford Aerostar. I got it for $500. It had been sitting for a couple years. Yeah, it had been sitting for a couple years, developed a head gasket issue. Then I owned I still own a Chevy Suburban as of the recording this video. 1990 Chevy Suburban. And I love it. It's super cool. It's like a 2500, essentially what it would be today. So it's like the mid-range Chevy Suburban from that area. They don't even make a 2500 Chevy Suburban anymore. But super cool car. I really like it. Absolutely, I'm so glad I bought it. I have no regrets about buying it. It's one of my dream trucks. Excuse me. But head gasket issue, rod knock. So I literally got to replace the engine because the engine's just messed up. It's just effed, kind of thing. I really don't have much faith in the reliability of American cars, as much as I hate to say it. I know there's some good ones. There are some good ones, like let's say the inline 6 F-150. Those are reliable as hell. Checkers, reliable. Granted, they had a GM powertrain, but I know some GM cars, very reliable as well. Chrysler, it's Chrysler. Hemis are cool, but Chrysler is Chrysler. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm being really controversial right now. I really feel like the meme where it's like, no, honey, I'm just having one drink. I won't talk politics at the dinner table. And then one drink later, talking politics at the dinner table. I really feel like that right now. Where was I even going with this? Oh yeah, but the Chevy Volt is really cool. And I think like plug-in hybrids and like cars which have like electric motors but use, and have batteries as well, but use like a gas engine as being like the backup kind of thing are like super ideal. Because like if you're going on a road trip, you don't want to stop every little while to go charge for 45 minutes. You want to stop for 5 minutes, fill up your tank, and keep going, kind of thing. That's just how road trips are in the United States. We don't have the infrastructure set up for electric cars right now. Plug-in hybrids are really cool, and I mean like they're looking good as hell these days too. I mean like there's plug-in hybrids for like pretty much every minivan these days. There's plug-in hybrids like let's say the new Prius Prime. And it looks great. The new Prius Prime looks so good. It looks like it's right out of Blade Runner. Like, the Tesla Cybertruck. I know some people hate it. I am actually, believe it or not a Tesla Cybertruck hater. I'm not a believer either, but I'm not a hater. I think they're funny. I think they're really interesting to see. I don't mind seeing them. I'm not somebody who sees a Tesla Cybertruck and goes, oh, I hate that. That's not me. I know some people are like that. No diss if that's your thing, kind of thing. That's just not me personally. I like seeing them. I think they're like the new age, like DeLorean. Like the DeLorean is, by all regards, a horrible car. Unreliable, bad engineering. The guy who made the car had massive legal issues with, I think, taxes and stuff like that kind of thing. DeLoreans are not good cars, but they're iconic and they look really cool because of, one, Back to the Future, and because of, two, their styling. They look really cool, but they're horrible cars other than that. Plus gull wings. That's another big benefit. But the Tesla Cybertruck, they're really cool. They look really interesting. They look really cool. I think they're very interesting looking cars. I don't mind them by any means. Is the Tesla Cybertruck actually a good vehicle? No, it's not. It's not a good vehicle. It's a horrible vehicle, in fact. It can't do truck stuff. As Whistling Diesel has proved, it cannot do truck stuff. They're not good vehicles. At least for being a truck. They're cars, essentially. They're glorified cars. But what was about it? Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, like plug-in hybrids though. Like they look so cool, and like the Prius Prime genuinely looks like it's out of Blade Runner kind of thing. And I think that is like super cool. And like the Tesla Cybertruck, like I know it's supposed to look like it's out of Cyberpunk 2077. I know it's supposed to look like it's out of Blade Runner. It doesn't though. It really doesn't. It doesn't look like it's out of Cyberpunk. It doesn't look like it's out of Blade Runner. It looks like it's right out of the 1980s. It looks like it was inspired by the DeLorean. It looks like it's out of Back to the Future. It doesn't look like a Cyberpunk car. The Prius Prime does. And that's made by Toyota. Toyota is doing it better. That's what I'm saying. Good stuff. No complaints on my behalf. Well, that was all I had to my drink, though. To summarize what I've been saying over the last couple minutes, electric cars, not bad, don't mind them, but we don't have the infrastructure to back them up, so we should be going for plug-in hybrids. And Cybertruck cool, but not a good car. DeLorean cool, but not a good car. Prius Prime cool, and a cool car. W123 based, Peugeot 505 based, Lada Riva based, UAZ or UAZ red truck based, Jeep based, not Jeep like Chrysler made Jeep, AMC Jeep, yeah, that's based, but UAZ Jeep based. Chrysler Jeeps, no, not based. They're just Jeeps. Chevy Suburban based, but American cars based, but like reliability. I do like my American V8s though. That's a good summary of kind of what I'm thinking of. I'll acknowledge I'm thinking. I like my American cars. I like my American V8s. I love them. I'll acknowledge. Like, oh man, a V8, like Cadillac Coupe de Ville. Whoo! Don't get me started. Hunter S. Thompson car, yo! Based. Fucking 8 miles per gallon. I said the F word again, man. I'm slipping up. I'm slipping up with my internal censorship, because I do internally censor myself during videos. I say a lot of curse words when I'm not on video. I say them a lot. But yeah, I need to change the engine in my Chevy Suburban. I need to get it replaced. I really don't want to sell it. I really like it. It's genuinely one of my dream trucks. And I really like driving it. It's so much fun to drive. It's so big. It's so cumbersome. But like, not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. It's so cumbersome, but like not in a bad way. And in like a really fun way. And it's just like really interesting conversation piece that I really enjoy talking about. And it's just such a cool car. Oh man. I really want to put a new engine in, but man, a new engine is like $5,000. And if it got totaled, even if it wasn't my own fault, if somebody just rear-ended me and totaled it, then like I would only get like $800 back. Cause I'd literally lose like I'd literally lose. I almost said it again. I'd literally lose like $7,000 because like new engine would be like, if I wanted to get like a crate motor, it'd be like $5,000. Plus putting it in, because I can't do that myself. I have no idea what I'm doing. It'd be like another $2,000. Pricey. I don't want to sell my Chevy Suburban though, I'll acknowledge. I do want to keep it. I do want to put a new engine in. I just got to figure out if it's something I actually really want to do. I got to figure that out. But I do really like my Chevy Suburban. American V8s. Based, let me just put it that way. I love my good old American V8s. I love them. I'm getting sidetracked again. I already finished off my drink. I finished off all the drinks I had today. And I've had a great time today. Not only drinking a rum and coke at 5 p.m. on a rainy day, but I've had a great time talking about cars, talking about other stuff. It's been so much fun, and I hope you guys have enjoyed watching. If you guys have enjoyed watching, of course, please make sure to like and subscribe for more content. I have my Instagram, my book, my merch, my P.O. box, and my other channels all in the description down below. Go check them all out. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Till the next one, stay safe in peace and have a great one. Yes, sir, you know what I'm saying?